Teach Malaysia stands for the movement against education inequity. That is the reality that a child's background most often determines his or her outcome in life. If you're born in Mont Kiara, you have a very different life outcome compared to Segambut. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to recruit the best, brightest leaders of tomorrow, so that they will drive change, and one day parents would feel that they are comfortable if their child were randomly placed in any 10,000 schools in Malaysia. Still a startup, just about hitting our growth stage. But I mean, even in the growth, we're a startup within the growth stage. So there's a lot of exciting things happening in Teach Malaysia. 3 of them include the scale. We've grown our recruitment this year by 40%, and it's our 4th cohort. How do we keep on growing and then hitting 150, 200, and one day maybe even 400 fellows a year? The second exciting part about Teach Malaysia as well is that now we're getting alumni out of the program. And alumni it's actually the real secret of Teach Malaysia, because these guys are the guys that have actually made an impact in the classroom, and now they're convinced that education inequity can be solved. They then are going to scale up their impact to a school, district, and hopefully a country level. The third area that's really interesting is actually the geographic expansion of Teach Malaysia. We've been in the north, Kedah, Perak, and Penang for the past 2 years. Central, we've been here since day 1. Next year, 2015, we're expanding to Sarawak, potentially 2016 to Sabah as well. So it's a bit crazy in that sense. And like any startup, I think, it's something you're passionate about. The most exciting part about me is actually waking up and getting excited about going to work, because normally all the bad news happens after 9 o'clock in the morning. So the first few hours in the morning is like heaven, and after that things go crazy. People is critical to the work that we do, and in education as well. And I lean on the advice that I got from the founder and CEO of Ensena Chile, which is the Teach for Chile equivalent. And he says the most important thing that you need is vision, mission, and core values, to focus on that. So whoever we hire needs to have a vision of what they see as success being. They need to understand what is their mission, be it in fundraising, recruitment, government relations, and they need to be passionate about it. So that's the competency area, if you like. But the secret sauce has to be values. And the values that we live up to is so critical in the organization. So Teach Malaysia's 4 values. There's a joke going on internally that's shortened as sexy, but it's actually pronounced S-E-C. It's actually spelled out as S-E-C-I. So the first S is actually stands for sense of possibility. You're not good accepting the reality of what it is today, but you have that vision to dream of what is possible, and that just craziness to just say like it can be done, and then figure out along the way. I like to say that's always a benefit of inexperience. The second value, E, excellence, very important as well for the work that we're doing, especially with children or fundraising or recruitment. And a story came out of this where alumni had to go and do a bit of training, a 1-day or 2-day training course for a school in Labuan, and they got rated out of 5, they got rated 4 or 5s mainly. No one gave a 3 or below. And the alumni came back and they said like, oh my gosh, in the org, I think the same course or training delivery would have gotten a 1 or 2s. So it's a very uniform standard, a high standard of excellence. The third value, C, collaboration, is really to ground us on the fact, to have the humility that we cannot do this on our own. We have to work together with others, with the university partners to recruit graduates that never thought of a career in teaching. We have to work with private sector donors that fund us. Most importantly, we have to work with the system, because the system serves 99% of the children of Malaysia. We cannot ignore that element. Finally, I, integrity. And the easy answer for integrity is around the funds that we utilize on behalf of other people for the mission. But integrity is more important for the work that we do with children. Do we do it for the children, or do we do it for ourselves and for a pat on the back on ourselves? And that's the integrity that I think is most important. You definitely want to do this for the kids, for something beyond and bigger than yourselves. But everybody needs to also have what's in it for me. And that element that I normally see across people is either the joy of just serving, which I've covered before. But another element is the joy of developing. So we give a lot of people a lot of development opportunities, a lot of stretch goals. We really believe in them, and we focus on strengths a lot, so that people don't feel like they're beaten up and they're a failure constantly. And the third element, which people seem to talk about quite often, is actually the people that they meet here. So the like-minded individuals, which again comes back to our values. So the people energize each other to achieve a greater goal, which is really, really amazing.